Hello. Okay, whether you are watching this live or catching the recording, you are probably going to want to grab a pen and paper. Make sure you have your phone, make sure you have your computer, and get ready for an hour of work. So, pretty much what we're going to do, I am going to share my screen and do that. Here we go. Okay, and I'm going to play this Action Hour by Jace Lundgren. I don't really know how to say her name. So this is in the Beachbody Champions YouTube page. There are tons of resources here, tons of action hours. So she's just going to lead us through exactly what to do during this entire hour. So we still have about a minute, but I'm going to go ahead and get it started.
Hi, you guys. I'm so excited to be here. I'm Coach Jace, and I'm going to lead your action hour this morning. And hopefully I can keep up with questions as you guys post them. But what I am super excited about is the topic of discussion today, because we're going to go over the Success Club system tracker, but we're going to talk through how to network better and engage and actively, intentionally and organically kind of grow your following and bring leads to you so that you are able to check off the things on this list that are the most important. So for those of you that have never used the Success Club system tracker, hopefully we can get that posted in here. But if you have, if you can print one and get it in front of you, that would be really helpful. So we're going to go over a few of the topics on this tracker. And then I'm going to mostly focus in on the connect, invite, and follow-up section, because I think that that's really the part where a lot of new coaches struggle, and that's really what's going to help you with the opportunity of even being able to invite. So hopefully this will be really helpful. This is going to require you to have your phone out, and if you're not super familiar with Instagram, this is going to be extremely helpful to build your following there and learn how to sort of interact on that platform to grow your following, and again, just bring a new audience to yourself. So for those of you, again, that are just hopping on, hi everybody. This is the tracker that we're going to go over, the Success Club tracker. I just put my notes right on here, but I have a little networking action hour that I do with my coaches, and it's purely just a networking exercise. So I believe, and this is just me, I believe that inviting is kind of a three-part process. We first have to network, and then we have to connect, and then we actually invite, and in that order. And I think what's happening a lot of the times, and what I see with my coaches, is they're inviting first and then trying to connect, and they're not doing any networking at all. And that's why it's not really working. So if you guys look at the Success Club tracker, what I love about it is it gives you a lot of the what to do, like what to post, what to say, what content is important and valuable. But the how part of it is kind of where I'm going to come in and just show you how to use those things and those posts to your advantage. So the very first thing on this tracker, and I'm just going to go through this really quickly, and then we can kind of get into the meat of the call. And if you're just barely hopping on, you're going to need your phone, you're going to need Instagram on your app up and ready to go. So just start getting that ready now so that we can have a really productive power hour. So again, the very first thing on this tracker is be proof that the products work. And that is number one in every category in all the ways. And I'm going to show you why that's so important as we kind of go through this next activity. The next part of it, the second section, the connect, invite, and follow up. So the very first thing on that is initiate connections and add followers. And I was kind of going through this tracker and looking at it from like a new coach view. And I thought to myself, initiate connections. How do I initiate a connection? And I think a lot of coaches are really intimidated by that. Like that's where you're like, oh, I don't really know how to do that. I know how to post. I know how to like show my workouts. I know how to, post a selfie and talk about Shakeology to some extent. Like I know how to do all those things, but I don't think, again, the connection is there with also the networking, and that's why it's maybe not landing. So that's really what I want to talk about. I want to teach you how to initiate those conversations and bring people to you. The next thing on that is do your social media posts that showcase the benefits, right? And then right below that is all of the things to do, like what to do. Post about your daily life, post about workout clips, post, product use, but do it without the brand name so that you can create some of that curiosity marketing. And it just kind of goes through this little list of what you can post. And again, that's amazing, but if you don't really know how to add engagement and how to bring people to your posts, then it doesn't matter how good your value is and your content. Like if nobody's seeing it, then it's all for nothing. So that's kind of where we're going to focus, because the most important thing I think on this tracker at the end of the day, if you're really trying to grow your business, there's one little section that I think a lot of coaches can't actually check off. And it's the one that makes the biggest difference, which is invite at least 5 people, right, to your challenge group or to learn about coaching. That's the little checkbox, right, where a lot of coaches are like, oh, this is icky. I don't like this. This feels uncomfortable. Like I'm just cold inviting people, right? That's the section where like if you've done everything else on the list, that's usually what goes missing, because it's the most uncomfortable and it's the most ambiguous kind of section. So like, again, if you look at this in a 3-part process, if you look at it like, okay, if I want the ability to invite people, then I have to first network, and then I have to create connections from that network. And from those connections, then I can actually invite. And I promise you guys, if you follow this structure, it's gonna feel a lot more organic. It's gonna feel a lot more intentional, and you're just gonna have a lot more opportunity to bring people to you. And just to give you guys a little bit of a background, because I know a lot of coaches going into this process and learning how to share their life and share these intimate workout sessions and all these goals that you're trying to accomplish, it can be scary. For me, I didn't really use anyone in my warm market for the first couple years of my business. I started 100% from a cold market. And I never looked at it like, oh my gosh, I have to go talk to strangers. It was, I need to talk to more people. And I think one thing that you can do within your own, mindset and language is to start saying people, not strangers or people I don't know or my cold market. Like everybody's just people, like we're people helping other people. And when you look at it that way on social media, when you start to network, it just becomes a little less scary. It helps you kind of calm down and be a little bit more real. And you just realize like, I'm talking to another person, like another mom, another dad, another brother, another sister, like someone who's just a brand new mom or a working mom, or, a guy who just wants to get in shape because all he does is work and support his family. Like there's just, you have to look at it from a people perspective. And that's going to help you tremendously with this activity. Because the networking part of this, and this is the coolest part for me, is that it's not emotional. The networking part of this is the exciting part of it. It's the easy part of it. It's the no-brainer part of it. And that's what I love teaching coaches, is that, the emotion in your business and the emotional part comes into, the connection part and the invite process. But the networking is something that anyone can do. It's super easy. It's a no-brainer. And there's really zero excuse to not be able to do it. And so teaching you guys kind of my top 10 networking tips, and we're going to, again, focus in kind of on Instagram today, I think is just going to help be a game changer and help you check off some of the more important lists or items on this tracker that are going to actually help you reach Success Club. So the third section is getting people results, which we'll go over a little bit. And I'm going to teach you how to network with that specific section as well, and how to leverage that as well as your personal development. So we're going to get going. So here's my top 10 tips. And if you guys have a piece of paper, definitely write these down. They're in a very specific order on purpose. And again, I'm going to make you do these exercises as we go. Some of them are going to probably be a little uncomfortable. But again, the main thing, you guys, is you're trying to bring people to you, and you're trying to expand your network and expand your audience every single day so that you're talking to new people. That's really the goal with this is just to be able to help you create more opportunity for connection and then eventually an actual invite. So the very, very first thing, which is the very first thing also on your Success Club tracker, is to post. Create an engaging post. So that's your number one thing. So everybody write that down as your number one networking of the day. I have to create an engaging post. So what I mean by that, and as you guys are doing this, I want you to pull up your Instagram and hopefully you have something queued and all ready to go. But if not, that's okay. What I want you to think about, and this is why this is so important, because it sets the tone for this entire activity. You want to have something that all of these people that you're about to network with on social media are going to come and see and be like, oh my gosh, I want to follow that person, right? I love this. Like, I love his content. She's got an awesome personality, or he has amazing value and tips, or, you know, asking a question. My favorite thing to do is to just create some kind of engagement. It doesn't always have to be fitness oriented all the time. People love to help other people, and people also love to talk about themselves. So if you ask questions that either help people share an experience of their own, or if you ask things that they like sharing about, like the other day I asked on my Facebook page, what's the weirdest thing you've ever eaten? It's things like that that people really like to get involved in. It's kind of a social topic. And I think sometimes on Instagram, especially when you're trying to create engagement, it's a little bit harder than a platform like Facebook. And so you have to get kind of creative. And when you ask other people for advice, or you ask other people for help, or what do you think about this, then it kind of entices that engagement. So the very first thing I want you guys to do is pull up your Instagram, and I want you to create an engaging post. And for those of you that don't have anything queued up, which I'm going to teach you how to do later if you don't know how to do that, then I want you to take one of your bajillion selfies on your phone that I know you already have right now, and I want you to post an Instagram picture that has an engaging content where they have to either answer a question, they feel inspired to post below or comment. And I recommend just keeping it light and fun just for this specific exercise, because everything you're going to do from this post forward, every single person that you network with is going to see that post. So if you've got a really good one there already, awesome. If you don't, then create something right now. Because the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to create an Instagram poll. So once you've created your post, then I want you to go into your Instagram stories. And if you've never done this before, usually I have my phone in my hand and I'm like walking my team through this, but you're going to create an Instagram poll. And again, it's a very intentional step-by-step process. So the first thing, an engaging post. The second thing is to create a poll. And the reason that I do this, I get a lot of opportunity to connect and invite through the responses to my polls. And the more that you do them, the more people just get used to you doing them. And it kind of shows that you're somebody who wants that social interaction. And as you guys are kind of pulling this up, again, your poll needs to be something super simple too. It can be anything. It can be, hey, have you worked out today? That's a really great one. And you can put yes or no. I personally don't like to let people give me negative responses back. So I'm always like, did you work out today? Yes or yes. And it's just kind of like my shtick. But I just want you to create some kind of poll to kind of kick off this activity so that you've got people answering your poll by the end of this networking challenge that you can reach out to and try and connect with, and then eventually hopefully try and invite. So asking if you've done your workout for the day is a really great one, because then you can respond super easily at the end of the exercise and message them directly and say, that's so awesome that you worked out today. What workout did you do? And right there, the door is open. The conversation can start. You can start trying to connect with that person, and just use that universal language of fitness and health to create those opportunities for invites. So once you've created your poll, and you have your engaging post, what I'm going to teach you next is to queue up your content. So this is a really amazing time saver, especially for new coaches. And especially for days where you just draw blanks, where you're like, I have no idea what to post. If you go into your Instagram homepage and you click the little plus button and you load up a photo, and I'm just gonna have you guys do this. You don't have to like make it all spectacular or put filters on it or anything. I'm just gonna teach you how to do this exercise so that it's in your back pocket. But if you hit the little plus button, you load up a photo, just put whatever random filter you want on it, and you can just type mumbo jumbo in the content part of it. Instead of hitting the little arrow to post it, and you hit next, and then you're gonna see where you can either post it or there's a little arrow that says to go back. And you're gonna hit the little arrow to go back, and it actually will say, do you wanna delete this or save it as a draft? And you can hit save as a draft and then cancel out of it, right? And that way, if you hit your little plus button again to go up and create a post, instead of just seeing like your camera roll, what you're gonna see is this little tiny section right underneath the photo that says manage posts. And if you click on that, that's where you're gonna find that post that you just queued up. So if you always have, 10 or 15 posts in there that are just ready to go at any given time on days where you're super busy, on days where your content or your brain creative is just not there, you're just gonna have all of that preloaded stuff that you can just crank out. It's an awesome tool. It's gonna help you tremendously with content and just keeping your Instagram really consistent and moving forward all the time. So again, once you've done those three things, then we're gonna really get into the networking part of this. And this is the thing that I love to teach the most about this activity, because there's so many coaches that have this incredible content, or you've got a really amazing aesthetic with your Instagram feed and no one's seeing it and you're getting no engagement or no new following. Or even if you don't really have the prettiest Instagram page and you don't really have that great of content, like it doesn't really matter. This networking exercise works for anybody. You can be a coach for 1 minute, you can be a coach for 10 years, and this will work. And that's why it's so incredibly impactful. But the one thing that I love to teach is that you have to be social on social media. And this is the part that coaches really, I think, are missing. They're going on and they're posting, they're being consistent, they're creating content, and they're doing all of that. But they're not doing the back end stuff that's actually gonna bring the views to their content. And Instagram specifically, and even Facebook, any social platform rewards the content creators with their engagement. So what this activity teaches you is how to socially engage on Instagram to get higher up in the algorithm, so that Instagram's like, oh, this is a social person. Like a lot of times we just throw our stuff out there and expect people to be social with us when we actually aren't being social. So this brings to light a lot of different things that you can do specifically to intentionally and organically, again, grow your following, grow your opportunity for invite, and just have complete control over with your social media. And I love that. Just doing these activities every single day will keep you higher up in the algorithm and show Instagram that you are using all of their features, and they love that, right? They love people who use all of their features. So the very first activity is the one that people are the most uncomfortable with, and the one that I always get the most questions about. But again, you guys have to remember too, this is a no-brainer exercise. Networking is not emotional. It's like leaving your business card, right? It's just getting your stuff seen, it's getting your face out there, and the more places that you're seen, the more people can come to you. So this specific activity is called the follow unfollow activity. And depending on how many followers you already have is kind of going to determine how many people you do this with. I recommend, as newer coaches, doing this with 20 accounts. So what you're gonna do is, and this works the best when you're not networking with other Beachbody affiliated content. So meaning this is a really good way to find your niche and figure out how to network with people that aren't already coaches, that aren't already working with a coach, that aren't already doing what we do, which I know is also a huge struggle. So what I want you to do is think of maybe some of the pages that you follow that aren't necessarily Beachbody related, but maybe are fitness related, like a yoga account or a clothing line that you really like, or a trainer or a fitness personality on Instagram that you really love. I personally like to do this with the Oreo page because I love Oreos and I love people who also love Oreos. It can literally be anything. So I want you to think of a page or a topic that you really love. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in and we're gonna follow 20 people, right? Super easy. So if you go to a page, what you'll do, for example, if I go to the Oreo page, I'm just gonna use that because it's easy and I know it's not healthy and it's weird, but that's what I do. If I go to the Oreo page, I'll go in and look and see who actually is following them. I'll pull up their followers, right? And so I'm gonna try and network with all these people who have the same interest as me. And the goal here, you guys, again, is just to get yourself out there, get yourself seen, try and network intentionally with other people, right? It's not emotional. You're not trying to be their best friend. You're not trying to connect or even really invite with them at this point. This is just purely networking. So you'll go to their following, or if you're gonna look up a topic as a hashtag, you'll go into the hashtag and you'll look at all the people who have recently hashtagged that specific topic, and you'll go in and you're gonna follow 20 of those people. So on the page, I'll go into the followers and I'll just literally go down the list, follow. And I'll do that, 20 or 30 times, depending on, again, how many followers you already have, because you wanna make sure that there's always a good ratio. You don't wanna be following more people than are following you, is the general rule. So once you've done that, the goal with this, you guys, eventually is in a few hours or tomorrow morning, you're actually just gonna go unfollow those people and do that exercise again. Follow 30 new people and then unfollow them and then follow 30 new. You do this a couple times a day and spread out the timing of it a few hours, then I promise you're gonna start getting a bigger following. And the way that it works is, again, this is why your poll is so important and your post that you did is so important, because all those people that you just followed are gonna be like, who is this person that just followed me? And they're gonna probably go to your page and they're gonna see exactly what you're about, hopefully. They're gonna see your last post. They're gonna maybe check out your Instagram story. And our goal is to get them trying to engage with our content and following us back. It's basically us just saying, hey, we're here. Like, do you want to follow me? Do you like what I have going on? Again, it's like leaving your business card on Instagram, okay? So don't try and overcomplicate it or feel super emotional about unfollowing people. You're not unfriending people, okay? And if somebody follows you back, then you can continue following them if you want and start trying to build the ability to connect with them through your polls, through engagement, and some of these other activities I'm going to teach you. But this one is really important because it kind of bleeds into everything else that we're doing. So once you've done that and you've gone in and followed 30 new people, what we're going to do is we're going to do another thing that Instagram really likes, which is we're going to like other people's content. I know this sounds really basic, but it's shocking to me actually how many coaches aren't doing this. The easiest way to do this, and this is kind of the double whammy, and this is why this order of operations is so awesome. If you go into your feed and you just like the first 25 photos that pop up, and again, these are like 1 or 2 minute activities. They're super simple. Go into your feed and just like the first 25 photos. Just scroll and like, scroll and like, scroll and like until you've done 25. And as you're doing that, which I hope you guys are all doing that as we go, what's cool about that is those people that you just followed are the ones that are going to be showing up in your feed now because you just followed them. So you're going to see all their new content. And now you're kind of double networking with those people. You just followed them and now you're liking some of their content. It's just sort of like a double whammy, but it kind of gets them even more intrigued to come and socialize with you, right? And network with you. So it works really well in that sense. So once you've done that specific activity, then I'm gonna have you guys kind of get out of your comfort zone a little bit more. So as you're finishing that part of it up, I'm just gonna explain this next part. And again, this networking exercise is meant to be done in an action hour. Like you should be able to network in under an hour as much as you need to grow your audience that day. And that's another reason why I love this, because it's quick, it's simple, it's easy, it's a no-brainer, it's not emotional. You can just do it as you go. So this next one is to leave 10 compliments, okay? And this, again, shouldn't be super emotional. What you're trying to do is create opportunity for connection here. You're trying to create opportunity, right? And that's what networking is. If you're not creating opportunity, then you're probably not having opportunity every single day to really take action on, which is what we ultimately want, right? To invite and to connect with people. So the leave 10 compliments is one of my favorite ways to network on social media. It hits so many buttons in the algorithm. It hits so many buttons in what we're trying to actually do. It'll help strengthen you and help you become a better coach. It helps you look at the good in people first. But here's my rule. So we're gonna do this with 10 people, and I'm gonna show you where to go to do this, because this is a cool part too. If you guys hit your little magnifying glass where you can go in and search, or no, I don't have my phone in front of me. It's where you go in and look at who last followed you in your comments. So it's the little, I think it's a magnifying glass. You click on that. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom of this, and I don't even know if every coach even knows that this is there. If you scroll all the way to the bottom of that, there's a little section that says suggested for you. And what's cool about this is these are people that Instagram has already connected you with. There are people who already might be interested in your content. There are people who talk about the same stuff as you do on Instagram. So sometimes there will be other coaches in there, other Beachbody people. You can kind of be a little more picky with this exercise. And this is probably the one that takes the most time. But I want you to go into that suggested for you section. Oh yeah, heart. Thank you, Katrina. I'm like, I think it's a magnifying glass. No, that's the search section. You're right, it's the heart. So go into the heart, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and find that little suggested for you. And there's just gonna be a bunch of people right there that, again, Instagram's already kind of aligned you with. So I want you guys to kind of take a minute and maybe, you know, weed through some of the other coaches or of people who are already doing programs. But I wouldn't even necessarily do that, because sometimes those people are doing the programs, but they don't actually have a coach yet. So you can also try and network with them. But go in and find 10 people, and I want you to leave a compliment on one of their pictures or some of their content. And here's the kicker. I want you to leave a 5 to 8 word compliment. Okay, and this is important because that specifically is going to trigger the algorithm, right? And what I want you to do with this is I want you to get good at genuinely complimenting people. This is going to help you not only like slow down when it really counts with the connection part of it, but it's going to teach you how to engage better on social media. It's also really good practice, you guys, for your challenge groups and your challengers. Instead of just being like, great job, awesome, you're doing amazing. Like, I want you to really think through the words that you're saying. Like, does it have value? Is this giving somebody something that they can take away today that's going to make their whole day? You know, and I think when you start, again, learning how to look for similarities, how to look for a connection, an undeniable link between you and somebody else, whether you have the same dog, the same kid's age, the same interests, right? It can be anything. You both like the outdoors, you both have tattoos. Like, it can be so many things. If you can start to learn how to recognize those things and take action on them and give people a compliment, that's the fastest way to, if it's genuine, to connect with someone immediately. I love this exercise. I think it's so powerful to help you become a better coach. Again, it helps you start to recognize the good in people. It helps take your mind off. I just need the sale. I need the sale. I need the sale. Who can I put in my challenge group? And it helps you focus on the people, which is going to get you to all of those things that you ultimately need and want to grow your business, right? And it's also going to help you get that person better results. When you feel connected to their story, when you have common interests, when you actually like the people that you're coaching and they give back to you, it changes this whole experience. It's not like, oh my gosh, I hate this person. They never show up. They never work. Like instead, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to get into my challenge group today and see who showed up with me, right? It's just, you're trying to, and this is one thing I really want to reiterate too with this networking exercise, is it's so important, you guys, to create that strong support system around yourself. It's important to create an environment for yourself that's positive, that's motivating, that pushes you, that challenges you, that makes you uncomfortable in healthy ways. And networking or connecting with people who, you know, don't hit those PowerPoints is what I like to call them, and they only hit your pain points, meaning you feel like you're being drugged down instead of lifted up. You have the ability to manipulate and create an environment that powers you up every day. Who you're networking with, who you choose to follow, being super intentional with the compliments you leave and the people that you are trying to network with on some level and connect with is just going to make your business so much more rich and so much more full. And that's the whole point of it. So with this specific exercise, that's why I say, once you've left your 10 compliments, and it usually takes coaches a minute to get there, that's generally what's going to create those connections for you, that connection opportunity the most, and hopefully lead to an invite today and help you find somebody that really fits with what you're trying to do. So take that part of it seriously, 8 to 10 words, get into the practice of sharing value that actually matters, and giving compliments that mean something, that aren't just generic, great job, how awesome, you're doing great, like really getting out of that and being someone different in that person's life than they have already. That's what's so awesome about coaching, is you get to be that person's cheerleader, that person's support system. Sometimes we're the only ones that person has that's really encouraging them and supporting where they're trying to go. And that, guys, is a life-changing sort of connection and experience that you can give to somebody without even having to sell them anything. And that's awesome. So once you've done that part, we're going to do kind of a 2-part exercise right now. And this is something that I'm actually going to help you relate to in your challenge groups later on as well. But what I'm going to do is I want you guys to tag a friend. I like to tag my challengers. Whenever I find really solid content or something that speaks to a story that one of my challengers has told me, or that they're struggling with, or like it can be, oh my gosh, I'm struggling with nutrition, or I'm, like eating sugar like crazy, or I just can't wake up in the morning. Like I try and look for content that's going to connect with some of my challengers' stories, and I'll actually tag them in posts on Instagram, right? So there's 2 parts to this. You can tag them on other people's content, or you can tag them on your content. You can go back through your own content and tag them on posts that you've already made in the past, and just be like, hey, I know we talked about this yesterday. I'm just thinking of you. I'm telling you guys, those little tiny pieces of love that you give to your challengers, where you're not just talking to them in your challenge book or your challenge groups, or texting or whatever, but you're actually tagging them in some content that is relative to what they're going through. Again, you guys, that is valuable impact. Not only does that show that you're thinking of them all the time and you're really trying to find resources and solutions for their pain points, but it's also hitting, again, that social algorithm with your social networking. It's going to show Instagram that you like to use that feature. Hey, I like to tag people in really good content. And the second part of this, which is super awesome for the algorithm, is Instagram really loves conversations. So you guys have probably heard that, like, it's good to get comments, and it's good to get like lengthy comments, like 5 to 8 words, again, like what we just taught you. But it's actually even better if you can start a conversation. So if somebody comments on one of your photos or some of your content, then instead of just giving them, you know, a response back, what I want you to try and think about is how can I get them to respond again? So if they're like, oh my gosh, this really spoke to me today, I really love this. Instead of being like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that it found you then. I'm so glad that you found something valuable from this. You can say something like, what did you take away from it? Like, what is speaking to you right now? If you can learn how to ask questions, people don't like to not answer questions naturally because it feels rude. So if you ask someone a question, then they'll generally respond again. So even with like these engaging posts that I was talking about, like, hey, what's the weirdest food you ever ate? Or I got these shoes, like people will ask sometimes like, oh my gosh, where did you get that rug? Or where did you get that weight set? Or where did you get that outfit? All the time on Instagram. And instead of just giving them the answer or giving them the link, you can be really smart about how you network and create a conversation within your comment thread to kind of keep your content high up in the algorithm. And you can just say, oh my gosh, I love this. I'm so obsessed with it. They have this color and this color and this color. Like, which color would you choose, right? And then they can respond, I would choose the black one. And you can be like, okay, here's where I got it. It can be that simple, but you've now created a conversation thread that's already boosted your content. And not only that, but it kind of gives you that ability to connect a little deeper through a conversation and not just a little heart or smiley face for them commenting on your stuff. So just working a little smarter and hitting a lot of boxes at one time is just going to bring, again, that opportunity for you to invite again and again and again. So we have 2 more activities. Hopefully you guys are writing all of these down. If you're not, I'm just gonna quickly go through them again. Because again, the order of operations and how you do this is kind of all connected, and it works the most effective if you do them in order. So number 1 is an engaging post. Create a poll. Make sure that you have queued up content ready to go for those days where your brain doesn't wanna be your friend. And then the network part of it, and work is the word of the day, is your follow-unfollow exercise. And then you like 25 photos, right? Leave 10 compliments for people, tag a friend, try and start a conversation. And then the next one is to bookmark posts. And this, again, is just another way to show Instagram, hey, I'm using all your features. I love this. And they're gonna wanna award you for that activity. So bookmarking posts is actually a really, really great way, again, to create a really positive environment for yourself on Instagram. And that's how I use this. So whenever I find content that's super valuable to me, if it's coming from, you know, a financial mentor or one of my mentors that I follow on Instagram, or, you know, an account that I follow on Instagram that I really love, or if I'm just in that general search section and I find something that I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, and it makes me stop and think or want to respond beyond a like, then I'll save and bookmark that post. So if you click your little flag button on a post that you want to save, it'll allow you to create a collection now. So you can create different folders to save this content in. What I love doing the most with this, and how I, you know, hit multiple boxes at one time, is that is awesome content to share in your Instagram stories and create polls around. They can be quotes, they can be little videos, they can be, you know, oh my gosh, I love following this page. He or she has so much amazing content. And you sharing sort of the personal work that you're doing, sharing the content that you're following, sharing the stuff that has value to you, that you personally are saving and using as inspiration to go forward every day, is so powerful also for your following and your followers. Not only are they seeing you continue to do personal development and seeing you continue to try and grow and better yourself, but you're also sharing that content for free that's also going to help them. It's awesome. This is a great, great way to content share. One thing that I really stress when I do this exercise with my coaches is to use each other. There's so many coaches that don't like networking with other Beachbody coaches on Instagram because it feels saturated or whatever. But I'm telling you guys, we are each other's greatest resource. Every coach that you network with that's on a different team has different information than you do. They have new ways of looking at things, new perspectives. They all have the same exact success plan that you have, but they may be going at it in a different way, or a way that speaks more directly to you. So I think when you have a new coach or somebody, you know, in our network that is also trying to do what you're doing, instead of being like, ugh, I don't want more coaches following me, I want you to really embrace that. And I want you to also start learning how to give for free to the network, because I think the more that we talk to each other, the more we connect with each other, the more we learn from each other. And you can find just incredible connections within our network that change your life. And again, it's not just about, you're not just here to like help everybody else except for yourself. You're here to grow, you're here to learn, and putting yourself out there and learning how to work with other people who are trying to do the same thing you are, and asking, hey, I know you just signed up too, like, what are you doing? Like, what is your coach having you work on? It just broadens your perspective and opens your mind. And again, you become a better coach, you become a better leader, you have more resources for your future network. And I think that's an incredible practice to get into in the very beginning of your career. So when you start bookmarking certain things, or when you start, you know, really paying attention to certain content, it gives you really great ideas on what you think is valuable. And that gives you a really good idea on what season of life you're in, what you really need right now, and how you can talk to that and attract people who also need those same things. It's awesome. Okay, so the very last thing, and this is another thing that I really love to do, because we don't network enough with our current following. We already have a huge audience, right? And if you're not networking with your current audience either, then you're just missing out on a huge opportunity. And what I love about this specific thing is you can do it in so many different ways. There's a few things that I really love to do. So if you go to your homepage and you click on on your followers, right? It pulls up your follower list, and you can actually sort that. So you can sort it. There's a little tiny button at the very top that says default, and it's got a little arrow up and down, and you can default it to who followed you the most recently or who followed you the longest time ago. And you can kind of choose who you want to network with. But what I love about this is you can take everything that you just learned and do those things with 10 or 15 or 20 of those people. You can actually choose how many people you want to do this with. But you can tag them on content that you've already posted. And you can be like, hey, I noticed that you liked this picture, so I thought that you would maybe like this because it was kind of on the same topic, right? You can like 10 of their photos, you can compliment 2 of their photos, you can follow them back, right? It's all these little tiny networking exercises that you just learned. But what's so impactful about this specific exercise is that these are people who have already connected with you. They're people who you may not be connected to yet, but they've already connected to you. So it's just going to be that much easier to create that scenario where you can invite them. And what I love about this too is not only do you find people who are interested in what you're doing, but you're also finding people who are just interested in you. And I think that that's so valuable on social media as well. Like really learning who your ride or die followers are, even if they never join your network, it doesn't matter. Again, you're creating this environment that's hugely positive, that's so helpful for you every day to plug into social media and be like, I want to be here. Like I like showing up here because I'm supported and I feel loved. And that's kind of what this whole exercise is about, is just creating this really positive experience and environment for yourself. So go into your following. I want you to choose a few of your followers to network with. If you recognize some of their names, then I want you, those are the people that I want you, like if you see repeat, I don't want to say offenders, but like repeat people, customers who are coming and really engaging on your content every single day, like start DMing them, start having conversations with them. And like, it doesn't necessarily have to be, oh my gosh, I know that you liked my photo. Like, do you want to join my challenge group? That doesn't make any sense because there's been no connection there yet, right? Instead, I just want you to start practicing being social with those people. oh my gosh, like laughing with them, talking about whatever they complimented or whatever they liked, in just a much more real scenario, because they already know you're a Beachbody coach. They're following you already. They already know you host challenges. They already know the spiel, right? So what you're trying to do is warm them up and help them understand that like you care about them too. Like you see that they're actually putting an effort on your page, and like really building relationships with those people who really just love you for who you are is so incredible, you guys. I have so many Instagram friends who, again, don't have anything to do necessarily with my network, or who'd been following me for 7 years, and then all of a sudden one day after 7 years of networking, were like, tell me what I need to do. Like, I've been watching you for, and you guys will get to this point where people will say, I've been watching you for 5 years and I've never reached out. And our goal as coaches is to create that opportunity, create that open door policy. And that happens through you being social, through you networking with them, through you showing them that you care about them too, and that you appreciate their activity and their audience and all of those things through, you know, laughing with them and talking back with them. I can't tell you guys how impactful it is when you network with one of your followers that's been following you for a long time and you had no idea, and you send them a private message, hey, I saw that you liked a ton of my photos over the years, and I just wanted you to know that I really appreciate the support. Like, sometimes, you know, we don't always know if what we're doing is important, and you always make me feel important. I mean, that's a sincere, genuine compliment, right? And it just gives them that boost of confidence to not only start engaging more on your content and commenting and starting conversations, but you learn that this doesn't have to just be a business transaction. And I love that. I love it when your business becomes something that means more to you than a sale, that means more to you than getting a new coach, that means more to you than just getting a new customer. And when you really become so results oriented, like, I just want to help people. Like, I want to give them something that they can take away for life, right? My team's motto is lives changed forever, because that sentence is what I'm constantly working towards, because that's what Beachbody did for me, right? It changed my life forever. So our goal with everything that we do is to get that sentence coming out of people's mouths and more lives changed forever. So now that we're done with that little networking activity, what I wanted to do is just go back to the Success Club tracker. Okay, this section number 2, initiate connections. You guys just learned how to do that. So now you all know how to initiate a connection. That's how you initiate conversations, more people coming to you, conversations starting, polls being taken. You can scroll up for everybody that answered your poll and just respond. I think learning how to respond in a way that's not always like, just join my challenge group or become a coach. Like, again, you're trying to network so that you can create a connection. Once the connection is made, and what I mean by connection is there's an undeniable link between you and that person, or you and that topic, or you and your why, right? That undeniable link. Once that's there, I'm telling you guys, any invitation that you make is gonna land so much smoother. It's probably going to lead into the sale and actually getting them into your challenge group and helping them get results, because that connection's made, that trust has been established. And this activity is solely for the intention to be able to connect more. And once those connections are made and you start getting better at connecting with people first, again, you guys, those invitations are just going to start naturally flying out of your mouth, and you're not going to worry so much about what to say correctly or what to hold back from or what not to hold back from. You're just going to say it, and you're just going to own it, and you're going to be excited about it, because you know what's in store for the person that you're talking to, because that connection to all of this has been made. We network, we connect, we invite, we get people results, they become coaches, and they repeat that whole process. It's that simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Just get to work and do these activities that really are going to make a difference and an impact in your business. So let's see. So for the very last part, these last 2 things, and then I'll let you guys go. Unless you guys have questions. But The last two sections are get people results. So there's 3 little sections under this that I'm just gonna teach you guys how to kind of double up with your networking. So the first one is to contribute to your challenge group every day, right? Obviously we check in, we share value as much as we can. One thing that you guys can do with this is, again, go back and tag people from your challenge groups on other platforms in social media. Pick out a specific challenge or a day and go onto Instagram and find something that's going to help them that day in their journey that's relevant to one of their pain points. It's going to give them a solution to something that they're going through. And I promise you guys, not only is that going to help you network, right, on social media, but it's going to add tremendous value for your challenger and into your challenge group. So the stuff that you bookmark and the content that you save on Instagram, use that for your challenge groups. Use those quotes, use those recipes, use those mindsets or perspectives or videos or whatever to feed value into your challenge group. You don't always have to be the content creator. And I think really showing that you're someone who is dynamic, again, who is working on yourself, who is finding valuable content for your own journey, and then taking that and sharing that freely with other people, and not being too concerned with who's going to get credit for how awesome the content is key. And again, if you can start doing that when you're young and coaching, like, it's just going to elevate and expand your journey so much as you go and your own journey. So that's a couple things you can do with that part of it. The next part of it is one that I really love. And this creates a lot of curiosity marketing, and it also helps really build your team brand and culture on social media, which is recognize achievement. We do this every single Thursday, right? No matter what, usually in our team pages, through our banners and whatever that we do. But one thing that I love doing is highlighting people in my Instagram stories that have had really good results, that had a small win for the day. And then I create a poll with it. Right? And again, this is the networking side of it that you can add. You're already recognizing people. So why not recognize them on another platform and also try and get audience involvement? So, oh my gosh, look at my girl, Sarah. She just completed this program. This is her results. This is what I'm the most proud of her for. Can everybody please stand up and give her a round of applause? And then you, instead of like creating a question for the poll, you just put little clap hands or like raise the roof hands or like pray hands or, you know, the celebration things, and you let people sort of comment on your polls and get excited for these people who are getting results. I'm telling you guys, it's an incredible way to start networking and seeing who is actually the kind of person who will celebrate someone else and their success. But also it helps your challenger feel extra loved and special because you went out of your way to not only share that on a different platform in a different way, but then they also get to see all these people cheering them on who are totally strangers, who aren't in the challenge groups already. It's just a really easy, simple way to increase your engagement on social media, build your team culture, create deeper connections. It hits all the boxes, okay? And then the very last one, respond to questions from your customers and coaches, which we do all day, every day in our challenge groups and our coach groups. But what you can do to go a little step further, and I love this aspect of it too, is you can share those questions again on social media, in your Instagram stories, and you can create a way for people to interact with that. Because I guarantee you guys that whatever question your challenger has or your coach has, somebody else has it too. And if you're the kind of person who not only will respond to that person with integrity and value and impact, but you'll also take that and use that as a teaching tool for other people, it's gonna attract and connect and network the right kind of people to you. Again, if you share in your Instagram story, oh my gosh, I just had a coach ask me what the coaching fees associated every single month with coaching are, or how I'm gonna find people to help, or there's so many questions, you guys. And then your challengers, what can I do this week to increase my opportunity for results, right? And then whatever you give them as a solution, you can literally share the conversation. You can block out names if you want to, you can rewrite it in whatever structure you want, but just saying, listen, like, these are the kind of questions that I'm getting, and this is how I'm answering them. Is this valuable for you? right? And then having them be able to participate on those specific posts, again, creates connection and opportunity for you to have conversations. Because if your advice for somebody was you need to drink more water, like try and do an 18-ounce challenge every day, or whatever solution it is that you come up with, you can create a poll that says, do you also struggle with this? And anybody that says yes or yes, you can message and be like, tell me what's going on. Like, do you struggle? Why do you struggle with this? Where are you coming from on this? And you can immediately start a conversation. That ability to sort of network, so that you're able to connect more, so that you're able to invite more, just that really beautiful flow of all three of those things working consecutively together is what creates that consistent growth in your business. It's what compounds over time to where you're always having someone to have a conversation with. You always have somebody getting results in your challenge group. You always have somebody about ready to pop as a coach. That's what you want. You want somebody who's just about to come into your network, somebody who's in the middle of it getting results, and somebody who's ready for the next level. If you can successfully keep a chain of that going, you're never going to not hit Success Club. You're never not going to have somebody to work with. This tracker is going to become like your no-brainer. I got this, I got this, I got this. And it's going to become your natural flow as a coach. And when coaching becomes your life, when coaching starts becoming successful because that's just how you live every day, I'm telling you guys, that is when you start having conversations with yourself like, holy crap, this is crazy that I'm able to earn income, that I'm able to get people results, that I get to work on myself for a living every day. This is nuts. That's when it is like, this is awesome. I never want to leave this. And again, your life has changed forever, right? Because you start paying off debt. You start hitting these goals that you never thought you could reach. You start becoming sort of this person that you've always ultimately envisioned yourself becoming. And it just becomes this very surreal, extremely valuable aspect of your life. And coaching, and this is one last thing that I really want to share, and then I'll let you guys go. You know, coaching, there's two ways that coaches look at this. They look at it as something extra, something, added to their plate, something that they have to now engage in and work on. And then there's coaches who look at this like, this is going to be my iron rod. Like, this is going to be the one thing that's stable in my life no matter what. And no matter what's going on out here, coaching is going to be my stronghold. I'm going to work out every day. I'm going to do my shakes every day. I'm going to post every day, regardless of what's going on in my life. And I'm going to have this really strong community around me to help me weather life itself, right? And it can become that stability for you. And I think really how you're looking at it is how it's going to become. What we think about the most is what actually ends up manifesting. So if that's a little switch that you can make, and you can start to create this Beachbody business around you to become your strong point, to become your foundation, to become the one thing that doesn't change for you, that is just for you, that nobody else can influence, that you get to be proud of, that you get to succeed in, like, that is life changing. There is nothing greater than having something like that in your life. And you have the ability to create that for not only yourself, but for other people. And that's amazing, right? Learning to love what we do and really just falling in love with that process and the gift that you really are giving to people that's beyond, here, buy this challenge pack. Like, what we're doing is we're giving them a new path. We're giving them a new way of life. We're giving them an environment that's positive, that's supportive, that's loving, which may be something they've never had, right? You're creating sort of that stability, and you're giving them something that they can hold on to for forever. And that's awesome. It makes me emotional even thinking about, but I hope that you took something away from this. I hope that when you look at this Success Club tracker, it's now something that's super exciting for you, that you can tackle, that you have control over, and it's no longer scary. I hope that when you're uncomfortable, it's in an exciting kind of way. Like, I'm uncomfortable because I know I'm growing right now, instead of I'm uncomfortable because this feels gross. It's all about how you approach this. It's all about understanding what you need in your life and being able to share that organically so that you can find people who are also in the same season you are, because we're never going to be able to attract every single person. And the one thing that was so impactful for me when I very first started coaching was learning how to network with the right people, so that I always felt, no matter what season I was in, I was attracting people who I was not only able to help in that moment, but could also help me, right? And we could just kind of journey together. So I love you guys. If you need anything or you have any other questions, I have my full networking power hour on my YouTube if you want to look that up and go through the whole exercise, but specifically with Success Club. I hope that this helps. And if it does, please let me know. I love hearing coaches' stories and their results. And I wish you the best success ever in your business.
Awesome. That was so good. So that power hour I just pulled right out of the Beachbody Champions page. So they have a YouTube and all of the different trainings are on that. They're also on the Beachbody Champions Facebook. If you just go in there and search, you can find anything. So the top takeaways were print off the Success Club tracker and use it, and 10 networking tips to grow your business. So anybody has any questions, drop them in the comments when I post this replay. And Alicia, thanks for hopping on live. All right.
Thanks, Allie.